Educated is a memoir by Tara Westover. It was published in 2018, and it is one of our nonfiction core titles. Tara is mostly in her 20s when she is reflecting on her life growing up as the youngest of 7 children in rural Idaho. Her mother, Faye, is an herbalist and unlicensed midwife, and her father, Gene, manages his own salvage yard where he salvages scrap metal. In addition, Gene suffers from paranoia, and so none of his children receive any medical treatment, and they don't receive a formal education. They also happen to be Mormon, and so they believe in the final judgment, and so their days are mostly spent supporting their parents' livelihood and preparing for the final judgment by running their self-sufficient farm. The children grow up very isolated from everybody in their town and in their community, and basically just learn to rely on each other. When Tara's in her early teens, her oldest brother decides that he's going to go to college, and as a result, he becomes estranged from the family. And this impacts the family a great deal because without him there, that means that all of the other children are filling his shoes by doing the work that he used to do. So they're doing increasingly dangerous jobs in their scrap metal salvaging yard, and as a result, the middle brother Sean becomes emotionally unstable, and he takes out his rage on his sister Tara, and she becomes both emotionally and physically abused by her brother Sean, which impacts her life a great deal. Her parents sort of turn a blind eye, but her brother who left the family gets wind of the fact that Sean is mistreating Tara and encourages her to pursue an education. So Tara, never ever having walked into a classroom, begins to teach herself, and eventually she studies and takes the SAT, retakes the SAT to get the score she needs to secure funding, and she gets into Brigham Young University. So never having lived with anybody beyond her family who protects her from everything, she is left to live in a social setting with roommates at a big university. So Tara has to face every fear and enter a formal classroom, learn how to study, perform well in school to maintain her scholarship, and also try to live with those around her, never having lived outside of her family. This proves to be a big challenge. In addition, while she's away, things continue to deteriorate at her home, so much so that every time she goes home, she continues to be abused, which leads her to eventually confide in a bishop who secures another scholarship for her so that she doesn't have to rely on anybody and work so hard, and she can just focus on her studies. And focus she does. She graduates from BYU with a degree in history and eventually secures monies and a fellowship to attend a prestigious university in England. This is a very emotional firsthand account of how Tara overcomes growing up in her survivalist family. The story is compelling and it's very fast-paced. So if you like life stories, if you like when the hero wins, and if you need a little inspiration, I would highly recommend picking up our core title, Educated. It's a triumphant and haunting story, and it will stick with you for years to come. Thank you.